Movie and Television Stories by James Blackburn. 2005, Into the West, Episode 4, Hell on Wheels. Good howdy, folks. Welcome back to another James Blackburn experience. For those of you who do not know, I make a living as an actor and filmmaker, mostly in New Mexico and the southwestern United States, but I have traveled much further over the years. I have always loved movies and television since I can remember. They've always been a great escape for me. This series will be for me to share the stories of my adventures in the movie and television industry. On the last episode, I shared the tale of my part on the second movie I ever did, Ironwood. On this episode, we will tell the story of my part in the third movie project that I ever did, the television miniseries Into the West, Episode 4. Filmed in 2005 and released a few months later in the same year. Let's go back in time to December 2004 and January 2005 and let this classic movie tale begin. In December 2004, I attended a casting call near Old Town Albuquerque. I knew casting call lines got long sometimes because I'd been to another one about a year earlier and the line went around the building. So I decided to get there early and beat the crowd. The Old West comedy group I belonged to, the New Mexico Gunfighters Association, we all went together and dressed in our best Old West wardrobe. The folks at the casting call hired us on the spot, and the rest is history. They called me a few days later and booked several of us to work on Into the West Episode 4, Hell on Wheels. We were booked to work on January 5th, 2005 at the Ford Ranch near Galisteo, New Mexico, along with 700 other background actors. Call time was very early, before there was even any light outside. With me were my fellow New Mexico gunfighters, Mike and Jeff, aka Mush Mike and Deadeye Demas. We signed in at the tent and filled out our paperwork, got some breakfast, and then off to wardrobe, hair, and makeup. All of us went through the same process, which greatly impressed me with over 700 of us there that morning. This day was more than 12 hours long and very tiring, but rewarding at the same time. The first take of the day required those of us playing soldiers to run or ride a horse into a Native American village. I was so excited that I outran everyone, and I made it across the field to the teepee village before anyone else got there, even the horses. I remember looking back and realizing that I was hundreds of feet ahead of everyone, and I suddenly had a thought. What if we have to do this again and again? We did have to do it again and again, and again for the entire day. But that's all part of the movie making process. After this day, I didn't hear back from casting, and I thought, I guess that's it. One day on set and no more. But I wasn't ready to give up, so I called the casting folks, and a lady named Lenny answered the phone. I told her who I was, and that I wanted to thank them for hiring me the week before for the big battle scene. She was happy I called to say thank you and asked my name and phone number. And then she said, "Are you available tomorrow?" Thankfully I was available, and she hired me to do a scene with a wagon train. It was great. I just walked along next to the wagon train and really enjoyed the day. It was the opposite of the first day, way more relaxed. After this, there were several more days on set at various locations around New Mexico. Two of these locations are called J.W. Eves Movie Ranch and the Bonanza Creek Movie Ranch, both near Santa Fe. At the J.W. Eves Ranch, they shot several town scenes, and I was given a new set of wardrobe, my third for this movie so far. I also met a new friend for the first time on this day, Tony Campisi, a fine person, actor, and historian. We're still really good friends to this day, and have probably been on 15 or 20 movie and television sets together. At the Eves Movie Ranch, we were involved in several scenes, one of which included a town scene where we witnessed the bodies of a scalped family being revealed in coffins. I remember eating lunch across the table from the actors playing that family and thinking the scalped head makeup looked very real. As a matter of fact, it looked so real, I found it difficult to eat my lunch for the first few minutes. In this scene, I was wearing this wardrobe, consisting of a long brown coat and a top hat. I believe I made it in 3 or 4 shots this day. At the Bonanza Creek Movie Ranch, my character was a Colorado volunteer. That was basically a townsperson who volunteered to be a soldier temporarily. This picture is one of my favorites taken of me on this episode of Into the West. This was also my 4th wardrobe change on this movie. On the following days, I was given another costume, number 5 so far for this movie, and this time I was a soldier with my long hair hidden under my hat, and we filmed at a fort set on the Bonanza Creek Movie Ranch. Turns out that I would travel to Bonanza Creek Movie Ranch for many movies and television shows over the years, including some that I helped produce. But that's a story for another day. We had one more location on this movie that I recall, El Rancho de las Golondrinas, a living history museum near Santa Fe. It was my first time here, and I found it to be both historic and beautiful. There were several scenes shot here that day where I was dressed as a soldier again. Thankfully, I had a small 35mm camera with me and was able to capture some nice pictures of both the crew and the actors. For some reason, they were all okay with me taking pictures and documenting my experiences. I've also made some new friendships along the way. This is Daryl, and this was our first time meeting, but we went on to work together again on several movies after this. He is a wonderful person and actor, and I'm truly grateful to have worked with him. I felt fortunate to be here and having this experience with some great people in New Mexico. One of the highlights of the movie for me was meeting and talking to Wes Studi and Tom Berenger. I told Wes Studi that meeting him felt like a dream, and he responded with, "More like a nightmare," and then we both had a good laugh. I've been fortunate to work with him again after this. He's a very talented actor and an all-around wonderful person who lives right here in New Mexico. They gave me a prop gun that was as heavy as the real thing, plus various accessories and wardrobe. I lost count how many wardrobe changes I had on this movie, but I enjoyed every single one of them. Now here are a few clips of me on this movie set. Enjoy. I know my time on this movie means nothing in the big picture, but this was another necessary step for me to find my way in this industry. I learned a lot, and I networked with many professional and kind folks that are still good friends to this day. I know my time on this movie means nothing in the big picture, but this was another necessary step for me to find my way in this industry. I learned a lot, and I networked with many professional and kind folks that are still good friends to this day. Quick summary. So after 12 plus hours every day, we usually wrapped after dark. Then, for the longest drive home. I was tired every night, but I still had a lot of energy as I drove the 90 plus miles to my house. On the way home, I reflected on my time on this movie, and I realized it was absolutely amazing. My memories of it are warm and fuzzy. Those are really good times that make me smile even today. After the work is finished, back to real life. For about a week after the first day of shooting, I had sore muscles, especially my legs, from all that running, and it was difficult to move without pain for a few days. However, I healed up nicely and went on to work on 2 additional episodes of Into the West, working from January to June of 2005, and playing at least a dozen different characters. But that's a story for another day. My life dramatically changed after this movie. I've pretty much worked full-time as an actor and filmmaker ever since. Thank you to everyone involved in my journey to find success in my dream career. I couldn't have done it alone. Tune back for the next episode for my speaking role on the History Channel's Taming the Wild West, where I play the mountain man Thomas Mitchell back around 1800. Thanks for watching. As usual, love, love, hate, hate, take care of each other,